After living abroad for 4 years, I decided to go back to America for Thanksgiving, and I discovered a lot. What did I actually learn? Let's find out in today's video. Hello everyone and welcome back. It's so great to see you. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Sarah. I am an American expat living in Poland. So I've been overseas for 4 years now, and on my channel we talk a lot about my life in Europe, things that I've learned from, living abroad and all of that kind of stuff. So if you guys like this type of content, be sure to subscribe, stick around, and let's go ahead and get started with today's video on me going back to America and talking all about that. So a few weeks ago, I actually went back to America to surprise my family for Thanksgiving. So I hadn't been back to America in 4 years. I haven't seen my family in 2. So it was definitely long overdue, and I just really wanted to make it a whole trip. So I decided to surprise my mom. It was so much fun. It was such a great secret to keep from her, and her reaction was totally priceless. So if you guys want to check out her reaction, I will leave my Instagram for that below so you guys can go check it out. But it was a great time. Both me and my husband went back. We visited his family first in Oregon, and then I just went ahead and went into Boise to visit my family. So it was a great time. We both really enjoyed ourselves, but it was very eye-opening to go back to America after not having been there for 4 years. I talk a lot on my channel about, the differences between Poland and America and things that I remember from living in the States 4 years ago. But things have obviously changed since then, and there's just been a lot of stuff that's happened. So it was very interesting to go back and kind of see some of that for myself. So I thought I'd just make a video talking about some of the things that I saw while I was over there, and kind of how they compared to what I remember versus how I actually experienced living over here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start off with some pros. One of the main things that I noticed and that I actually really appreciated about the States was how big the roads are. You guys, the roads are huge. The States are made for driving, so you don't walk anywhere, you just drive. And oh my gosh, the lane sizes were so big. You had so many lanes on either side of the road, no matter really what street you were driving on. Oh my gosh, it was so great. Here in Europe, the roads are really small. You have trams going in and out. You have pedestrians on the sidewalk. You don't really have the street signs that are very prominent. You got one-way streets everywhere. You have cars parked on the side of the road. It is just, I think it's terrifying. And then you have the GPS screaming at you for most of it. So I just really hate driving here. I do have my Polish driver's license, which may surprise some of you, but I just don't like to drive. So when I went to the States, I just drove everywhere and it was totally not a problem. And I feel very comfortable, which is really strange because driving accidents in America are way higher statistically than over here in Poland. So I should be more cautious about driving in the States than I am here, but I really felt the opposite, which is really strange. But that was one of the main things that I did notice and I actually really appreciated. Another thing that I really liked was, obviously I'm feeling this around the Christmas season, with all of the Christmas lights. They're everywhere. Like, all of the subdivisions were just super lit up. All of the houses were gorgeous. That's one thing that America really does do right, are Christmas lights. And so we drove around town and just really saw a lot of the lights. We had the botanical gardens in Boise that we went around and just looked at, and it was stunning. We had a few other light displays that we went to as well, and they're beautiful. Europeans do Christmas markets incredibly well. Like, there's nothing in the world like European Christmas markets, but American Christmas lights, totally different story. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And I wish there was more like Christmas light displays over here in Poland, I guess. And maybe there are, I just haven't seen them, but just kind of in my experience, they're nowhere near like the States. Another random thing that I really liked about the States, you guys have Trader Joe's. And that is one of my favorite things. I love Trader Joe's. If you guys are American, you know the obsession with Trader Joe's, right? I can't find any of that kind of stuff over here in Poland. So I definitely took my fix over there. Americans, like this time of year, are all about the peppermint. So we found like this peppermint cold brew almond milk thing that you just like add to your coffee. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I can't find that anywhere here. Poland, you guys need to do peppermint because I can't find peppermint things like really anywhere. And mint is not the same. Peppermint is where it's at. So it was really nice to just kind of get your fix of like the Christmas treats of like all the peppermint candies and peppermint drinks and all of that kind of stuff. I absolutely loved that. So that was the one thing I really did enjoy. kind of another thing I enjoyed too was all of the delicious Mexican food and everything that kind of comes with it. Tex-Mex is big over on the West Coast, and you can get some great family-owned restaurants that are just to die for. So I really enjoyed that. Had a great time going into a whole bunch of different places. I ate Mexican food way more than I would like to admit in the 2.5 weeks that I was over there. So I'm not regretting a single bit of that. It was fantastic. And if you guys are ever on the West Coast or in Texas, 10 out of 10 recommend getting Tex-Mex of any kind. You will not regret it. All right, so now kind of onto the part that you guys are probably all here for, are things that shocked me about America. And I could make a whole bunch of other videos on that. So give this video a comment down below letting me know if you want me to make another video on some other differences that I noticed. But one of the main things was the prices. I know inflation is hitting everywhere. No one is exempt for that. But my gosh, you guys, the prices in America are outrageous. I knew that when I moved back to Europe. But I was not mentally prepared for how expensive it was going to be. I remembered it all being expensive, but my gosh, it was through the roof this time. It was totally, I remember we landed in Chicago, and that morning for breakfast, the only place to really find actual breakfast food that wasn't full of sugar was Starbucks and the egg bites, right? That was the closest thing to food that we could find. And we paid $20 for egg bites and coffee, and I almost had a heart attack. 80s, what's that? Are you kidding me? There's no way. The few days before that, I went to a restaurant just right around my apartment, and I got these gourmet bagels and a huge latte for, what was it, 25 zloty? Yeah, it was insane. So I was like, I cannot believe that I'm paying 80 zloty for egg bites and 2 coffees when I paid myself 25 zloty for a huge bagel and a big latte. So it was a little shocking to go and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. It's insane. My mom and I went to the grocery store one time, and I just love walking around the grocery store. I think it's so much fun, but absolute heart attack at the prices. She bought 5 apples. They were $9. Shocked. I could not believe $9 for 5 apples. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Totally normal. I mean, you could go to the spice cabinet or the spice area in the grocery store and pay $2 or $3 for a spice thing. Wow, that's insane to me because, over here, if you guys have seen my video of what we spend in a week, I can link that up here in the cards for you guys. But it was definitely not that price over here. And again, I know inflation's hitting. I know it's expensive everywhere, and I know the prices are not what they used to be, but it was just a little bit crazy. And I have also done a video too about what $100 can get you on a date night in America versus Poland, which I would also link up here so you can go watch that when you're done with this. But just the prices of going out to eat, they just felt really expensive, more so than I remember. Me and my parents all went out to dinner. It was routinely close to between $80 to $100 for 3 people. Just an entree and drinks, and I guess that's normal, but it just seems so expensive to me because I'm just not used to that. So that was a little bit taking me aback. Even though I was mentally prepared for it, I wasn't ready to fully commit. But once you're there, you don't really have a choice. Another thing is Americans drive everywhere. I know I've mentioned this before in my past videos, but Americans do not walk places. I distinctly remember when we were visiting my husband's family, we were hanging out just with some people over there, and we ordered lunch, and we were at her house, and she's like, oh yeah, well, let's just drive and pick it up. We're like, well, how far away is it? And she goes, oh, it'll take 10 minutes to walk, but I'll just drive. It'll take me 3 minutes. And we're like, but why wouldn't you just walk? It's 10 minutes away. Yeah, but I can drive and it'll save me 7 minutes. But it takes you 10 minutes to walk. So it was just quite strange to go back into that mentality of Americans don't walk, they drive. And I guess it's just kind of like culture or the way that we just grew up. But you don't walk anywhere. My parents live maybe about 15 minutes walk away from Target, and so we got out one day and we're like, oh yeah, we should just head up Target because we needed a few things. I'm like, oh yeah, well, let's just walk. I'm like, we'll just drive. Again, it only took like 2 minutes to drive there, but it was like 15-minute walk away. So again, not saying it's wrong or anything, it was just, oh, okay, you guys just drive. I forget, because here, I don't blink an eye if I walk 45 minutes one way. Like, I got my haircut right before I left, and it was literally 45 minutes away from here. I just walked. I didn't even think twice about it. I never would have crossed my mind to drive, because I'm like, I'll just walk. It's fine. It's, not pouring rain or snowing, so why am I not gonna walk? So it's just, again, very different mentality. So I would say that was definitely very different. Another thing I noticed was the type of food and like the quality of food that we were getting. So here in Europe, you don't get a lot of those chemicals that are, like, a lot of these chemicals are banned from the States, and the States is still using all of these chemicals that Europe's not using. And so going back to the States, I was really concerned about my GI tract and kind of how I'd be feeling while I was over there. So about the first week, I was really cautious about what I ate, just because I didn't want to upset anything. I didn't want to feel bad, and I just wasn't sure how it was going to react. So I ate a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of whole foods. I didn't really go eat the processed stuff. And if I did, it was in small amounts. So like have half a bite of this, or share an entree, or just something to kind of see how I felt. There were a few times that it did not work out for me, and I did not feel great the next day. But it was just a little bit strange to be like, this is like all of these chemicals that we don't have here in Europe. Like, going back to the Trader Joe's thing, I love Trader Joe's. It's so good. You get all these great products, but then you look at the ingredient list and you don't recognize a lot of these ingredients that you're putting into your body. And over here in Europe, yes, I know we still have chemicals and all that kind of stuff, but there are just so many things that we don't use or we don't have, or things like that. And it really made a big difference. And you're just like looking at the ingredients and you just like, I can't understand the majority of them. So that was kind of an issue. But overall, you just like make do with what you have, right? But I really just felt bloated a lot of the time. I didn't feel great. Here in Europe, for example, I can eat a whole pizza and feel totally fine, and that's not an issue. But over there, I felt like I ate 2 slices of pizza, and I just felt so gross for hours and hours and hours. And I even still felt it into the next day. So just very strange about how different ingredients can make you feel and all that stuff. I'm into health and wellness. I have my degree in that. So, I'm very much into that whole sphere. So that's kind of why I'm talking about it a bit more. But yeah, very interesting how different countries do food different ways. I'm sure I could talk forever and ever about my experiences in the States. These are just some very brief highlights that I thought you guys might find interesting. Again, if you want to see a part 2 of this video, give this video a thumbs up so that way I know that you like it, and leave me a comment down below to kind of let me know what you guys are wanting to hear more about when it comes to my experience going back to the States. Again, I was there for 2.5 weeks, and we were really there just to only spend time with family, and that was really great. I had the best time. It was a lot of fun to see everyone, but it also felt really good to come back, because even though I'm an American and I have I'm a citizen and I have that passport and everything, it didn't really feel like home. Europe felt like home to me. So it was really exciting to come back and be like, oh, I'm finally back home, instead of having to, just think of America as my home. Like, yes, my family's there and that's great, but my home is here. So that was really great. Again, I haven't been back since moving, so it was really interesting. So hopefully you guys found this video interesting, informative, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, entertaining maybe. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that kind of aspect. Just America and Poland, again, can do more of these if you guys want. But thanks again for watching. Again, hit the subscribe button and that thumbs up button so I know that you guys like this video, and that you can stick around to see more content of mine. So thanks guys again, I appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll see you in our next video.